This review took me so much time and so much nerves, but I can't deny that I fall in love in this game, and I'm not sure how much time I've spent in it. But the most importantly, I finished it! Ladies and gentlemen, today I present to you Deathloop. This review will be spoiler-free with bare minimum of info about story, and the reason for it is not because it is not important or boring. The reason why I skip this part is because I want you guys to discover it on your own. I love every part of story and believe you will too. So today we will focus more on gameplay and why it is great. First of all, if it's your first time seeing this game and you feel like you have seen something familiar, you're right. Deathloop took everything great from its ancestor, Dishonored. Teleports, stealth, combat, approach planning, discover of the map, all these parts of gameplay is something that made Dishonored so crazy and popular. Deathloop is focused around same things, but the main focus is in discover. Maps are crazy, to be honest. I've spent most of my time just to discover the map. Amazing level design, and most importantly, depending on time of the day, different parts of the map offer you completely different experience. For example, library is closed during night, but you can get inside using parkour and almost free of enemies, and during daytime it's full of enemies. Or, for example, cinema is closed at night at all. One of the biggest and the part of experience is the fact that whatever you do during your loop stays for the next one. Oh wait, I didn't mention what is loop? Guys, one thing you need to understand that dying in this game is okay. Why? Because you learn. Your chapter is stuck in the time loop, where no matter how he die, he end up coming back to life. Something familiar to the movie Groundhog Day. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda was inspired by the movie. Funny that all the NPCs and enemies are stuck in the loop too. There is tons of examples how small details can change the overlay of the map for your next loop. Or maybe opening some doors will make you end up with another shortcut. Tons of examples that is just unreal to mention in one video, and I won't cause I would love you to discover on your own. Probably Deathloop's biggest disappointment is that all the slaps have precedence in Dishonored. You could also argue that it doesn't steal enough. Some of the outsiders' weirder gifts have been left on the table, like conjuring up spectral assassins or transforming yourself into rats and fish. But what Deathloop lacks in terms of individual tools, it makes up for in terms of freedom to use them. Your power bar recharges for starters, so you can wield all those intoxicating skills without scrapping around for elixirs. You also have more license to screw up thanks to Colt's reprise slap and Tracer style rewinding skill, which essentially gives you free steps at each level before the entire day resets. There are two halves to Deathloop's story. In the first, you kill the visionaries one by one and obtain their power, infiltrating and mastering the eccentricities of layers that range from punch-drunk style live action shooting courses to sprawling castle masquerades. In the second, you exploit your foreknowledge of events and access to hidden locations to bring everybody together, perhaps messing up one visionary's morning so that they decide to come along to the evening gala. The game's lore and mission menus are strangely intuitive. Given the complexity of all this, there is a daisy chain of clues and leads you can ponder. But all you really need are the brief directions you're given when you select an area. Like Hitman, whose influence is also traceable in the modular campaign structure and certain set-piece environment kills, Deathloop writing and chapterization takes quite aim at what the great Gatsby called the vast carelessness of the super rich. The visionaries range from elite scientists to ogreish rock stars and pampered artistes. They resemble classic Bond villains at first, but the dialogue channels that more contemporary blend of sociopathy that sees billionaires trying to reboot humanity on Mars while claiming that we all live in the Matrix. While Deathloop stands out among blockbuster shooters for featuring two black leads, the social divisions it explores are less about race or, for that matter, gender or sexual orientation, more about the reality-altering force of high-dose quantities of cash. The visionaries are a diverse bunch, but at the end of the day, they're all one and the same concentration of impossible wealth. Appropriately for a game about time travel, Deathloop can be read as a game both for newcomers and old hands, an accessible introduction to Arcane's grittier immersive themes, or a triumphant refinement of the Dishonored style. Where it feels most like a concluding act is in how it builds on a theme of Arcane's work about games as means of both coercion and liberation, trapping you in order to empower and motivate you to break out of them, forever challenging you to think of some possibilities that has escaped the developer's calculations, to the point of sabotaging the illusion entirely. I've argued in the past that this contradiction is fundamental to the immersive sim genre, but Arcane is unique in making it a question of story and setting. We see this in the opening and closing moments of 2070's Prey, in Dishonored 2's Clockwork Mansion, and in the studio's penchant for villains who are demurring game designers in all but name. And we see it in Deathloop, which takes that curious inside-outside thinking and applies it to time itself.